Mags on Media and brand news in brief now. And Omo shaking up the concept of in-store sampling. The detergent brand partnering with a large sporting merchandise store in Beirut and included special tags on garments. What's so special about that, I hear you ask? Well, the tags are made out of Omo laundry detergent and is 100% water soluble. Each tag can remove the dirt of 3 garments. And Mattel, the manufacturer of doll brand Barbie, taking inclusivity seriously through its latest line of dolls that feature Barbie in a wheelchair and one with a removable prosthetic leg. Mattel says that it wants to elevate the conversation around physical disability and educate children about differently abled people. Well, finally this week, while the country was shrouded in darkness as flailing power utility Eskom rolled out load shedding once again, there was something amid all the turmoil that brightened South African faces. You may have heard of the cheekily named app called EskomSePush. It's the brainchild of developers Herman Maritz and Dan Wells. And the push notification service for load shedding schedules grew, and wait for this, from 2,500 users, 2,500 users, to more than 500,000 in just 1 week. Let me take you to Cape Town. Dan Wells, welcome and thank you very much for joining us. First of all, explain the name to me. It's got some interesting colloquial connotation, I think.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. So ultimately, it's push notifications for Eskom schedules. But we also really enjoyed the way that some of our colleagues at the company that we used to work for, and the way that they used to say push in a very strong Afrikaans accent. It comes across as a very different word. But it's very much push notifications for load shedding schedules.
All right. Say no more. I will accept that explanation from you, although many other people might not. So where did the big idea come from?
Load shedding schedules are hard. When load shedding was implemented for, I think, the second time in South Africa's history in 2014, there was a lot of scramble. People were looking at the schedules across the internet, trying to find the single source of truth and having to learn or get a degree in calculus to try and understand them. So we looked at trying to make them simple. And in 2015, we released our first version of our app. We made it incredibly simple. Is there load shedding? Isn't there load shedding? And when will I be affected? Back in 2015, we went from no users to 250,000 users within that year. And we won 2 awards at the MTN App of the Year Awards then. One, our favorite, which is the Consumer Choice Award. We got, apparently it was over 1,000 times more votes than the second place winner. But ultimately, we kept it running over the last couple of years, just as a side hustle, as we like to call it now. And ultimately, it came into use end of last year when load shedding kicked in again. We actually got a fright when we got a notification from the app because everything is automated. So I thought there was a bug in the code when we found out end of, I think it was November in 2018, that load shedding had started again. Just to clarify, as of Friday last week, we've got 660,000 active users as of Friday.
And I count myself among them, Dan. I like the phrase that you use, single source of truth. So how do you go about sourcing the information to make it as usable and as accurate and as authentic as possible?
There's a lot of the data that's captured manually, and there's a lot that we also capture automatically from sources online. But we rely on our users to let us know if our data is incorrect as well. So our users are fantastic. They send us screenshots of their schedules and they say, the city power schedules have just been updated. Would you mind looking into them? So we've got a bit of manual work and a bit of automated work to capture them.
You would be working, I imagine, almost in opposition to the utility itself, Eskom, and the different municipalities. What's your relationship with them? Do they welcome what you're doing, or do they see you as the dark enemy?
We're not sure. We've tried to make contact to various different municipalities and the power utility itself, Eskom, but to no avail. So I think we just go and we try and provide this data and the service to South Africans so that they can understand load shedding easier. There's a lot of different information out there, and it's confusing for South Africans. So we just try and make it simple.
You talk about this being a side hustle. I'm sensing that with 650,000 users, and that figure has probably changed since you and I began talking. Has it been something that you've sought to monetize, or do you all have day jobs and this is just a weekend hobby?
both Herman, who said I must say he's a great big fan of yours, but and myself, we do this as a side project. So we do this in our personal time and in our spare time outside of our day jobs. We've got history making banking applications and security there, and now we're working in the e-commerce companies. We are looking into other ways to monetize this app. We have got an advert in the app at the moment, which is very much just covering the server costs for keeping it running. But we are looking into other ways. We've got this large collection of users. We've got 650,000 phones with our application installed in it, and we're looking into other avenues of how we could possibly monetize it. So we would be looking for additional partners or potentially even investment to take this further.
Well, I wish you well, because it certainly is a useful service, an important service, Dan Wells, that you are providing to South Africans. Thank you very much for joining us. You can let us know what you thought of today's featured stories on our social media platforms. And until next time, goodbye to you, and thank you for watching.